What is up, beautiful people? We need to mute the other window. What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Mythos from the channel Wolfbrother Hobbies, and welcome to tonight's video. It's a short one. Usually I stream till about 10:30, and it's already after 9. But I mentioned I had some extra work coming up. Today was one of those days that I worked a bit late, and of course, I had some stuff to do with the family after that. So it was one of those uh, days. But thankfully, I'm here now, and yeah, waiting to. I've been waiting to get going because it is a shorter stream tonight. I don't actually have a main topic. I'm going to talk some hobby nonsense. We're going to go over what's on my desk, what I got accomplished, and yeah, we'll talk about a game that I recently had and my excitement for getting started on my upcoming Space Wolves army again. In fact, that can lead us into what's on my desk right now. So before I get into that, of course, let me know what you're working on, what you've been working on. That is so unprofessional of me. I'm sorry. But as I like to say, what you got, faux poke chap. Let me know what you've got going on hobby-wise. We will turn off this sound. There we go. Got that turned off. So, I built 4 Grey Hunter bodies earlier. No heads or arms yet, but it's still progress. Hey, any step forward is progress, baby. That's good to know. That's good to know. So I am excited to get some Space Wolf models in. I am going to be getting some Space Wolf models in, which is exciting. Yeah, so what's on my painting desk now? I have been trying to finish up my Custodes projects before my wolf stuff gets here, so that way I can just focus on my Space Wolves. So this week I finally finished the last 3 of my 6 Custodes Alaris Terminators. I just put up a little showcase YouTube shorts earlier. You may have seen. So really excited how these came out. I really love my, pink plasma glow. But I'm really excited to finally have this project done. It took a little more than I expected to knock out 6 of these big old Terminators. And I got a captain done, so that is a huge chunk of points finished off today. And speaking of finishing off another huge chunk of points, I finished off my Custodes General. Now I play 40k, not 30k, but I always loved this model, the Constantine Valdor from 30k, and he technically has, I guess it's referred to as a spear, but the shape of this spear blade, I am happy to call that an axe, and you run this as my Trajan Valors for my 40k army. Head swap, I did acquire online Etsy. I got a Henry Cavill head. I did find out upon putting it on, it is slightly too big for the body, and it bothered me a lot. I've had it on my desk staring at it all day, and from a tabletop length a little further back, it's not so bad. It's growing on me. I did download a similar Henry Cavill head and try and print it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Caleb. I did try and download a similar Henry Cavill head and print it myself, but when I scaled it down, like some of the details were just so soft when I scaled it down a little, like the lips were like non-existent. I tried painting one up, or I tried painting up a couple, but the details on the face I just couldn't get to come out well. So I decided, after staring at it all day, I was just going to live with the slightly too big head on Henry Cavill and stop being such a perfectionist. What layer height are you printing the replacement heads at? That's a good question. That is a good question. I don't know, to be honest with you. I had Freak and Oni help me set up my printers when I first got here. When I first got them, and then after that, I the only thing I did was when I upgraded to the Saturn, I just clicked over which machine I was using to the Saturn, and I haven't changed to any settings. I haven't looked at it at all. So whatever the factory settings are, that's probably what I'm using. Bet probably using an O5 layer. That would make sense. That would make sense. As a more experienced printer, what should I change that to? And I assume I changed that in the slicer program. I use Lychee. Okay, so some of my TTRPG tomorrow games got canceled. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I plan on finishing the Grey Hunter unit tomorrow morning. Hey, at least there's a positive there. Brother Archer started a crap ton of half-built Night Lord. I got a ton of half-built Night Lords, Terror Squad, and Night Raptors that are on the desk. Very nice, very nice. Are you doing the Night Lords 30K or 40K? Because, a lot of people are excited about that Heresy 3.0 coming out this weekend. Let's see, painting a few more 15mm goblins, still messing around with an old last century hex encounter game. That's cool. I don't know, I'm sure you probably saw as well. I saw that Greg unboxed a used one from 1968, a very original print of one of the hex encounter games. That's pretty cool. Richard Smith, the awesome gentleman himself. How are you doing, my brother? So good to see you. Oh, you're doing it for both. Very nice. Saw that video. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like a little piece of history there. So, you guys have seen the Custodes that I've done. And before that, I finished up the 6 jet bikes and its captain. And I finally got to play them in a game. I put them into a game this weekend. We'll talk about my game, but I had a full 3-man squad with the captain. And when the Codex first came out, I was really disappointed that the bikes got nerfed, that you could only take a 4-man squad at most instead of a 6-man squad like you used to be able to. I am super well at the moment, my brother. I've been given a lot more responsibilities at work, so I've been feeling a little extra swamped, a little extra under pressure, but I'm blessed, man. So it's all good at the moment. You'll get better details on O3 or O2. I may have to mess around with my settings. Thanks for letting me know. Surprised as heck it was still sealed in the shrink wrap and everything. Yeah, he said there were some pieces missing, so I'm thinking that they may have gone back and shrink wrapped it again. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Got another rule set coming in. Naval in the Age of Sail. That's awesome. So, yeah, Custodes in-game, super cool. And the 4-man bike squad did plenty of work. So the losing 2 bikes out of the squad is probably a little less survivable, but still overall, between sustained hits, critting on 5s, they got so many wounds through. They cleared out a full brick of what are those ones that wear skin, the Necrons that wear skin. Anyways, yeah, tore through a whole squad of them, no problem. Any character. Shot down some stealth suits before making that charge. It was awesome. Anyways, so yeah, I finished painting the jet bikes. I was super glad about that. So officially, I have the only things I own left for my Custodes, and I will have a fully painted army, like with nothing left, nothing in boxes, nothing in half finished, unpainted on the desk. Absolutely nothing. Is 1 shield captain, which is already half done. I have a squad of Custodes Guard that are. I hung out at the shop on Friday. I spent several hours painting, and I've gotten them a good 60% of the way done. And I have yet to build one of the Contemptor's Achilles Dreadnought. The Custodes Dreadnought with the big las cannon spear, which is really cool. A fully painted army with nothing in box heresy. I know, but I own like 7 other armies that are not completed, so it's it'll be my one completed army. And then technically I have a 30k Contemptor that I could add to it as well, because I was thinking about trying Solar Spearhead, and apparently the Venerable Contemptors are really good in the Solar Spearhead. So at most, like at the moment, 1, but if I choose to add my 30k Dreadnought in, because I bought one of the Heresy box sets last Heresy 2.0. So 1 to 2 Dreadnoughts, the only things I have left to build. It's amazing. Although one of my buds at the shop also plays Custodes, who's like, you know what you really need? You really need some Venatari. He's like, you can rapid ingress all of them turn 2 and do some threat overload. I'm like, no. I mean, that sounds cool, but no, don't tempt me. I said I'm almost got a fully painted and finished army. And then my other friend Max said, well, I mean, at least until the next edition, right? But yeah, that feels good to be so close to finishing an army. And of course, Table Handers Custodes proxies are really good. I wonder if Table Hammer minds their work being shown, because I want to look at that right now. Let's take a look. Pre-supported tablehammer.com. It should be alright. I'm pretty sure that GW's not watching my stream of all people. Okay, let me find the Custodes proxies first, and then I'll switch over, guys, and show you what I'm looking at, because I tend to break stuff in the stream when I switch it too early. Plus, there's no need to see all the open prompts in my browser. Oh, they've got some cool sisters. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and switch over. All right, we're going to switch over, and we're not going to break anything, right? All right, let's go to Chrome. Space Core. Or take a look at the screen. I don't think that's too broken. Yep, you're pretty much looking at what I'm looking at. All right, we're going to size that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's pretty decent. Okay, so they've got some pretty sweet stuff here. Some leaders. We got a Phoenix Mage, a Prime Leader of Humanity, which is pretty cool. A Commander, Shaman Heredity, free Halloween special. That's a Ghost Rider. I have to check that out. Especially free. You can't beat a price like free. Tobias. I've always loved the name Tobias. It's a cool looking mini right there. The big ass hammer. We've got some Space Sisters. I do love some Sisters of Battle. We've got Flame Breachers. I guess these are supposed to be Terminators. Some rocket launcher guys. Oh no, breachers. I guess those are guys breaking down doors. Their cults page, just in case. The website itself is kind of meh. Okay. It's a good thing we've got Archer's expertise here. Ah, check out these Vedatari. Slide this over so you guys can see the Pegasus Assault Squad, which are pretty sweet looking. They got the wings, got the spears. They passed the vibe check. They got the shields and the pew-pews. Oh, that's a really cool pose. I like that pose. Those are pretty sweet. And then he also sent their entire cults page so we could check out some other stuff. Just in case I decide to do some add some more stuff to the Custodes. Oh, we got some special effects here, like explosions. That looks like it'd be pretty cool to print in like a colored, clear resin. Crash sites and casualties. We got bits, demonics, magic effects, muzzle flashes, Necroid stuff, Space Core, Federation of Tyr seems very dwarven-like. Ascended Prime Chaplain, that looks pretty cool. Oh, we got the Dreadnoughts here. Got the spear version, and we've got the sword and shield. Actually, they look pretty pimp. They've got to look like kind of like a similar to like Dark Angels have, the kind of knightly helm with a hood over them. That's pretty sweet. They definitely passed the knightly vibe check. Hey, Mini Warmutt. Yeah, they do feel similar to the GW ones, just a little bit of a different spin. We've got the ones with the bolters. It looks like they could stand in for the Sagittarium Guard. Primal Templars. Ooh, some jet bikes. I don't know why I'm over here looking at jet bikes when I literally just got done painting up 6 of them and a captain. But they got some cool jet bikes. These are pretty sweet. Some of the troops. They've got the gun blades. They've got spears if you need them. Oh, they've got a few different flavors of spears too. That's pretty sweet. Very cool, brother. You know, it's the way they take the bolters that are like usually in the spear and mount them on the wrist also kind of gives them a little bit of like a little bit of Blood Angels feel. I think their bolter swords are better looking than the GW ones. They definitely have that gunblade vibe. Kind of brings back some nostalgia, I think. And by gunblade, of course, I'm referring to Final Fantasy 8, which is a super cool one. But my favorite two are Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy VII. And recently, while I was out with the family at Barnes & Noble's, you guys may have remembered me complaining before that the uh, pre-orders for the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy crossovers were sold out in seconds, thanks to scalpers and scammers. I think it's very cool that while we were there, they had a couple in person, and they still had a couple left. So, you know, you guys want me to see if we can work something out. Like I said, they had a few left, so just let me know. Yeah, the scalpers have been pretty bad this time around. That's why it was so good to see. Some of you may not have seen. Oh man, that would have been a good thing to show tonight. Um, but they actually halted pre-orders last weekend because they detected scammers making off with some of their product, and it's so good to see that GW stepping in, taking action against the scalpers. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so we went on a couple of tangents there with Custodes, but having a completed Custodes army is going to be sweet. But check this out. I did start on the two models I was talking about last week. While I'm waiting on more wolves to come in, I started on my Ragnar Blackmane and my Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And yeah, just started carving in a few details. You know, I did the airbrushing on both of them, and started carving in a few details. You know, some of the lead belcher, some of the gold. Instead of just doing all of Bjorn's mural gold, I left the trim gold and I left him gold. But the Great Serpent, I've seen some people actually paint that up as a green serpent or a red serpent. I wanted to keep the metallic vibe to it, so I painted it up silver, so that way his mural's still silver and gold. But yeah, it breaks up a little bit of all that gold on his chest. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, putting in some work on this. And Ragnar, I don't know why I decided to focus in on this detail. But because I had his backpack off for sub-assembly, there we go. Get my face out of the way. Now get the product back in the picture. There. See, I keep looking at the monitor, but then I keep putting my face in front of the camera. This might be too small of a detail to really show. Streamer struggles with camera for 10 minutes. More at 11. Okay, well, I will put some pictures up. There it is. But yeah, I went with a pale gold, scale 75's Necro Gold. And yeah, just did up the gem and the gold trim and a little bit of silver on the backpack. And so Ragnar's backpack is complete, and I can make a good start on him. Like I said, I knocked out the airbrushing. Time to cut in some details. And then, of course, there's just so much detail on Bjorn. This will definitely be a project. I'm being a terrible influence, making you want to print more Custodes. It already started at the shop where my man was like, "You need some Venatari." Oh. So, am I interested? Maybe. But right now, I'm going to be disciplined. We'll see how long that lasts. You guys know I love firing up the printer. So, finished up those. And I think that's it. That's all my hobby. I need to acquire a second Space Wolves Dread to field Bjorn and another at the same time. Yeah, Bjorn is always great. He's almost auto-include territory with the buffs that he has. You know, being able to get an extra CP every single round is absolutely awesome. And then the dreads are just they're good. I wish they were strength 12 so that way they were a little more efficient at taking out vehicles. But what are you gonna do? Um, just wounding most vehicles on fives is tough. It's tough. Um, Murderfang is amazing though. The only thing is that Murderfang doesn't have an invul save. So, like, sometimes I take him and he's amazing. Sometimes I take him and he gets nuked. It's kind of a 50-50. Um, but, absolutely, absolutely. Definitely, if you can build that second dread, absolutely do. One of my favorite things to do is if you can find any used Contemptor bodies, which might be difficult now because Heresy 3.0 came out and last edition dreadnoughts, especially your Contemptor dreadnoughts, were very, very good. And so, uh, it might be hard to find Contemptor dreadnoughts, but I love the way because they're more the Contemptor dreads are more built like a soldier as opposed to just a big box. I find that the arms for your Space Wolf dreads look great on a Contemptor body. In fact, I made my Murder Fang out of a Contemptor dreadnought. But I think you'll be happy if you get your hands on some more dreads, though. I saw one Space Wolf player at a tournament I was at recently. He was fielding his Iron Priest list, where basically he had he had two Iron Priests running around with just bodies of dreadnoughts. I think he had three of each. He had three Wolfen dreads, three Space Wolf dreads, led by Bjorn, and it was just threat saturation all over the field. And he may have had like one or two scouts for just holding objectives. And that was his whole army. It was pretty cool to watch. The older plastic version of the Contemptor was easier to use too, with it being almost a solid piece for the torso and legs. Yeah, the ones from Betrayal at Calth especially. Super, super user friendly. So I am super excited to having gotten started on um, the Space Wolves, in my new color scheme. Like I said, I've painted up a couple of old metal Terminators in the scheme before, but I went back and for anyone who likes to follow along at home, I was using a recipe from Robert the Miniatures Paintbrush. Miniatures Paintbrush Reavers. And I will share that link with you in case anybody wants to see how I intend to paint my wolves, or how I've started painting them. There is the link to Brother Rob's tutorial where he's changed up his recipe, and that is the recipe I am currently attempting to follow. And it's a good recipe. It's a good recipe. It's I've always been kind of like wary of painting the eggshell blue that a lot of Space Wolves are, but some people make it look great, but I didn't think I could make it look good. But something about Rob's formula, I think because these blues aren't just like an eggshell or a baby blue, they've got like this hero blue from Fantasy and Game scale 75. It's got like I don't know, like almost a blue green tint to the blue gray, and that with the cooler tone of the Amarth blue just really kind of give off a different like the same kind of Space Wolfy colors, but just a different shade. And I think by just adding a little of that green to that blue-gray mix, it's just like, I don't know, it makes it pop more to me. I like it a lot. So, yeah, I'm having fun with Bjorn and Ragnar right now. Also, the manager at the shop that I love to hang out at, he's been very enthusiastically uh, trying to convince a few of us to get into Heresy so he can have someone to play. He's like, it's a cool game. We could just roll some dice together. And so I've had a few of these box sets for Heresy 1.0 and 2.0 in the past. In fact, I think I still have a full set of Burning of Prospero Marines somewhere that haven't even been built yet. And so I theoretically could put together a small force. And so I may have built up just a couple, out of spare bits, a 30k Marine. Manlet Marines. I may have put together a 30k Marine just to test up paint scheme. And I don't know. So before, when I was going to get into Heresy with freaking Oni, I was thinking about doing Blood Angels. And so I have a Blood Angels Leviathan I've already painted up. And then the interest in the group kind of died out for that, unfortunately. And so I didn't do anything with it. And so still got a bunch of like converted up like Blood Angels made from the 2.0 box set, but adding on jump packs and some Blood Angel details and stuff like that. I've still got a bunch of those. So Blood Angels would be easy to do. Or I could do Space Wolves, because I do own a Lehman Russ that I've never put together and painted. It's like in sub-assemblies, it's partially together. But yeah, I do own a Lehman Russ that's partially together. So that could be an option. Do another Space Wolves army while I'm doing this Space Wolves army. It seems like a lot to do so many Space Wolves. I don't know. I thought about being a masochist and doing Luna Wolves, because Loken makes the Luna Wolves look so likable, before they become Sons of Horus. It's wild to me how much the scale has creeped from 2016 when Burning of Prospero came out to the current Age of Darkness Mark 6, Mark 3s. Yeah, for sure. For sure. They are itty bitty in comparison. In fact, I mean, just right here, right? This is one I had from Betrayal at Calth, and this was one I have from Heresy 2.0. And you can kind of, now they're just prime black, so you can't really see a lot, but you can see here there is a clear head and shoulder difference between the two. Like, this is where his head comes up to. His head comes up to his shoulder plate. Like, it's crazy. The leg lengths are so different. Yeah, it's crazy, the difference. And like you said, it's only a couple of years difference. And it's all Heresy, but yeah, it's wild. If I ever started Horus Heresy, I'd do a Loyalist Luna Wolves army with Loken as the head of my army. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was telling the manager at the shop, Manager X, that I was thinking about doing. The only thing is that I've already painted. I have a White Scars army. I know how masochistic it is to paint a White Scars army. I'm thinking to myself, I want to do that again for Heresy, but I kind of do. But of course, like, my White Scars are kind of a pristine, white army with, like, they've got like where I've put pigment around like their legs and shins and boots and stuff like that. Paint them more gray than white. Yeah, that is definitely what I'm thinking. I was thinking of like not going up to a full white. Like maybe the highest highlight would probably be like a what you call bright neutral gray from Pro-Acryl, or Administratum gray from GW. Have it like a very like a whitish gray. And also, I was thinking that whereas my white scars are like pretty pristine with just like some dirt, some Martian dust caked up on their leg plates, like do these grimier, actually, do some sponge weathering, to try improve one's skill with each new army, right? So do some sponge weathering. You do more, some of the streaking griming stuff that I've learned with my Custodes and Imperial Guard. Do that with them. Just make them, do more battle damage. I think I'd just beat the hell out of them a little more. Maybe not beat the hell out of them, but beat them up a little more than my other armies. That's one of the things I'm thinking. So yeah. The only thing is that, man, the only thing that's kind of like, but what about Blood Angels, is because I still have so many converted Blood Angels from the Heresy 2.0. So I don't know. It's a lot to think about. But man, like when I watch the battle reports, I'm like, but it's so much more technical. Do I really want to put together a list like this or play a game like this? I don't know. But that's my thought, guys. I'm thinking Luna Wolves or Blood Angels so far. But so if you guys, have any votes, let me know. And that's if you're watching live or if you're watching from the archives. Let me know your votes. Which way should I lean, Luna Wolves or Blood Angels? I know I said it would be unprofessional for me to be on the phone, but let me show you some pictures from a game I played. I played in the narrative campaign. I got one of my narrative campaign games in this week. And this one was a 2v2. Kind of a 2v2 of necessity because, there were several of us who were trying to get in our weekly narrative game. And the manager was like, hey, why don't you guys do a 2v2? And thankfully, everyone was amenable. Oh, also, I'm going to send you some pictures from an Instagram. We'll do a little art of the week because I found a content creator that has inspired me. And you guys unfortunately know how your brother is. When I find art on Instagram or something like that that inspires me, sometimes it results in new armies. So, I got to watch that. All right. So, we'll do the game. We'll do a little art of the week. Actually, we'll throw in this picture too, show you what I painted while I was at the shop. What's really cool is that this game shop I'm at, about damn time, Luna Wolves, because you can do Blood Angels in 40K. That is a great point, Calamir. I keep dabbling with the thought of and paint scheme for a Loyalist Emperor Children's Voice for Heresy. Oh, that's cool. Hellworks, it's about damn time. What's about damn time for what? Oh, because I was late to the stream? I apologize, brother. It's about damn time. In a minute, I'm going to need some kitty kibble, lamb chicken to chunk meat up. Alright, we'll go to Articles and Art. Boop. Now you can see this handsome guy was there hanging out at the shop. It's a friendly local gaming store, hanging out with some peeps. And while I was hanging out, I painted up some custodies. Apparently I need to fix the screen again because I'm off center. There we go. Oh, Art of the Week. It has been a hot minute since I did some Art of the Week. I don't have a ton of Art of the Week, but I have some Art of the Week. Basically, one content creator. So that's as far as I made it on my custodies while hanging out at the shop. The cool thing about this shop is, they have like the tables for playing on, but then they also have a couple tables while you're waiting on your game to just hang out with people and paint along. So either way, you're hanging out, you're doing hobby stuff. It's a good time. So that's one of the things I really like about hanging out at the store. So yeah, I know they're super bright here, but I usually tone them down with 2 sets of washes. I do AK Streak and Grime, and then I have a black enamel wash. I've tried a few different ones. Currently, the one I'm using is, I think it's from Tamiya. Mythos broke it. Oh yeah, I've been fiddling with the screen off and on for a bit of the night. So yeah, they're looking bright here, but they're on their way. They're on their way. All right, so this is kind of our deployment. Since we were doing a 2v2, it was the Custodies, played by moi, and my partner was a cool guy playing some Black Templars. On the other side of the table, we have Necrons and long-standing villain on the channel. I say villain. It's because 7th and 8th edition Tau has left me with some trauma, baby, some trauma. Was salt and cans. Salted fish, that's what it was. But yeah, you can see I had my grav tank over here. This was a squad of Guardians with the Blade Champion. Now, normally I run, the guard with Kyria Draxus, but in the narrative, we're not taking named characters. So that's why the Blade Champion was leading my Custodes guard. Over on, oh wait, is that the same picture? Oh yeah. Over on this side, you can see my other Caladius grav tank. But we had blessings because of one of the zones our team controlled in the narrative, right? Basically we're fighting in different sectors of this area of space, and one of the places we had was the NASA Center. So it was the spaceport, and the blessing that gave was we could select up to 3 units and scout them forward. And so you can see here my jet bikes scouted forward, this Land Raider scouted forward so it could get line of sight of the big boys in the back, and the Ballistus over here. So the Templars scouted with the Ballistus and the Land Raider, which is cool. Now, we played until closing time, so I don't have, unfortunately, a great set of play-by-play pictures. I kind of have some before and after pictures, but it kind of is what it is. I faced off against anchovies in the can. I like it. First turn, I just moved up and advanced with my guard here. You can see also my Templar's friend has one of those combi weapon lieutenants here, so they're just hanging out, lone opping on the objective. This was a really interesting mission, by the way. So a unit could spend an action to kick the objective 6 inches in the other direction, We called it a soccer objective because the further towards your opponent's deployment zone you move the objective, the more points you earn every turn. And so, if you can keep defending an objective and keeping your opponent off of it, and you can keep kicking it close to their deployment, you're racking up more points. Hate that mission. It was my first time playing it. It was real interesting. But yeah, definitely, like, I definitely was able to feel how that mission can go sideways real fast. But yeah, so the unfortunate thing is that to keep kicking the ball, you got to do an action, which means you're giving up fighting and shooting and all that good stuff. So, I made the very team-oriented tactical decision to have my teammate do all that good stuff, and I kind of just fought stuff. So I was not being a team player. But my teammate, my Black Templar's teammate, basically, he did the hard work. He earned the points that eventually let us win the game. Did the anchovies win, or did zeal and spite win? We'll talk about that here in just a second. This was what was on the other side of that building, though, from those the Blade Champion and the Guardians I was showing you. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. We got a massive blob of not massive, but a large blob of 10 warriors. We got broadsides. We've got a full squad of crisis suits and a cold star commander. So there's lots of firepower over here. So that's why they were staged like just behind the bunker. Like, please, please, please let this LOS cover our butts. Over on the other side of the table. So, first turn, we took out, this was just after our movement, so, we, I think these are scouts? Maybe no, not, Crusaders. Crusaders hopped out, and there is, on the other side of this ruin, you can't really see, there's a ghost keel and some smaller guys here. There's 3 ghost keels here. And there are, oh my gosh, what are these? Flayed ones. That's what they are. A big squad of flayed ones. Here we've got some heavy destroyers and some destroyers. Got a character here. I think that's an overlord. We got a massive squad of wraiths with the murder buckets and the technomancer, I want to say he's called. And then, of course, back here we've got some more big firepower in a storm surge and ghost keel. Lots of firepower. Turn 1. They went first. No, turn 1 we went first. And I want to apologize, by the way. I must have been thinking of, I think I was thinking about 9th edition, but I was under the impression that a set of ruins couldn't be line of sight blocking unless it was 5 inches or more. Am I thinking of 9th edition rules? Because I went back and looked up in the rulebook later, and there was no mention of 5 inches. And honestly, I feel like a jerk for debating it with my opponents, but for some reason, the number 5 inches is in my head. I really thought it wasn't line of sight blocking unless it was 5 inches or taller. You can see over here, this was turn 2, so, okay, yeah, we did end up calling this mission early because the store was closing, so that's, in our rush, we didn't take all the pictures we should have. So, my jet bikes are just over here, just off screen. They shot in and killed 2 of these ghost keels. Stealth suits, and then they ended up charging this squad of flayed ones and wiped them all out. It is crazy. With I was using the exploding 5s rule for shield host with sustained hits. It was crazy. I rolled 15 attacks and I got like 18 or 19 hits through because of exploding 5+. It was great. No mention of 5 inches in 10th. I don't know about 9th. That was 9th. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like a jerk for debating it with my opponents. I must have been thinking about ninth edition. But for what it's worth, my apologies, and y'all were right. Uh, Over here, the um, last cannons took a chunk off of the ghost keel that was here, and the Crusaders went in and finished chopping it up to pieces. And then I charged in, took out the flayed ones, and it was a good time. Until what I didn't take pictures of and should have, the return turn, the ghost keel and the ghost arc. The storm surge popped around, put its head out here, and the not ghost arc, the gun one, the doomsday arc, pulled back a little, and the destroyers kind of came out to the middle, and they all peeked around and got line of sight on the Land Raider here and stripped it down a bunch of wounds. I think they may have cleared it. And then they also cleared one of my Caladius grav tanks. And I could not make my invul save at all. But then in our responding turn, and yeah, I think he lost the Land Raider. My partner lost the Land Raider. He lost some of that squad of actually, I think he lost the whole squad of Crusaders. The Wraiths made a big, huge jump into the middle objective and kind of swarmed that. They had a good push that second turn. Or yeah, but then we win again. Actually, I think that was the bottom of their first turn. We cleared out the warriors with the guardians here, and we consolidated into the crisis suits, and we only lost one guy, which is awesome. We had been able to go on to the next turn. We only went to the bottom of 2, unfortunately, because the store ended up closing. But I was excited because in return we only lost one guy, and even after they had shot their next turn. So I would be able to use my stratagem to hit harder after not being at starting strength anymore, which is cool. Here, we charged in with the Terminators here. These Wraiths ended up blowing up the Dreadnought in combat, but we managed to take out 3 of the Wraiths. And had taken them down to 2, but then there was also the Technomancer and the Murder Buckets, and they pretty much moved past us and dealt some 1 mortal wound, and they would have been able to regenerate back. The Storm Surge is what took most of the wounds off of, or some of the wounds off of my Caladius grav tank, but back here, there were heavy destroyers. You can see that they're gone because the bikes have moved in and eaten them up. But those heavy destroyers really are what put the biggest hurt on my tank. And you can see here. So unfortunately, these destroyers had cleared out a good chunk of this section of where the Templars were. Nobly, I think this is either a Justiciar or a Chaplain. I want to say it's a Chaplain and a Marshal. But man, they lasted like 2 turns in combat with these destroyers, which was cool. And my bikes cleared out the heavy destroyers and consolidated into the Overlord, which took out one of the bikes and the Storm Surge. And then I would have spent 1 CP to back up and charge in again. So, yeah, that was... It felt good to do Custodes things and get in the back of their lines. So... but definitely, what would have happened next is, while all that felt good... Oh, also, we had an Executioner that was still doing some shooting. What ended up happening next, though, was there were 3 squads of Cold Star suits that dropped in, or of Crisis suits that dropped in on our end of the board, all on the left flank. So... one of them was right in here, in this middle area, where they shot and finished off our executioner here. So that went bye-bye. One of them was kind of here in the middle, and they also shot in on the executioner. So between the two teams, that's what managed to take out the executioner. And then a third squad had dropped back here to deal with my custodians coming on the back line. So really, even though we hit them hard and we got in their back lines, they had board control by the end of the game. Like, we were doing well, but 3 additional squads of crisis suits popping in, I think would have had it for sure. Just that much board control and firepower left over. Even if I took the storm surge at the end of that last turn and cut down on some of their shooting, just all the crisis suits on the board, definitely would have been plenty of firepower to take. And crisis suits are high movement too, so they'd have been able to jump on all the objectives, and they'd have been able to shoot the rest of our stuff off the table. So I'm positive they would have won it at the end. Would I have continued to do some damage here at the back? I probably would have gotten away with another squad of these crisis suits that I was in combat with. The broadsides plus the other squad of crisis suits, I'm sure, would have taken a good chunk out of my squad, so they wouldn't have had any bite left. The bikes back here, even if I finish off the storm surge, the Overlord probably would have taken out another bite, which means that I would have been operating at about half strength with that bike squad. The destroyers and the high marshals and that chaplain back there, I think the chaplain and the high marshal would have probably taken out maybe a couple more destroyers, but I think they would have ultimately fallen to the firepower. And so, he had 2 more big squads of models coming in, so that could have possibly, but there was still a lot of firepower. I mean, I guess with his 2 big squads coming in, it still could have been anyone's game, but it definitely felt like they had the board control at the end there. Now, as it was here at the bottom of turn 2, we ended on 5 points to our team, 4 points to the other team. And so, we all kind of talked it out, and we talked about what could have happened on the subsequent turns, and ultimately, they graciously gave us the victory, because it's like, well, okay, at this moment, at the end of the game, you guys technically win 5-4. And so, honestly, it was a bit of a draw there. They had the board control. We technically had the points at the time. They probably had enough board control to pass us up in points, but also my partner had 2 more squads of, I think, Crusaders coming in. Maybe Sword Brethren, or maybe one of each. But who's to say where it could have gone? But yeah, I definitely felt like points-wise, my teammate carried me. It did feel good to get in the back line to do a bunch of damage, though. And I feel like overall, just even if we had ended up losing that because of, board control and whatnot, I was happy either way. That's why I actually didn't even comment when they were like, where do you guys want to call it? How do you want to rule this? I didn't really comment, because I'm just like, man, I had fun. I got to kill stuff. I ended up in the back lines. I did custody things. Win or lose or draw, I'm happy wherever we ended. So it felt good. Now, I've got some art of the week here, because what I saw was possibly the coolest Lord Solar I've ever seen. And it's honestly not a ton of modifications. It's like a head swap, a shoulder pad swap, a weapon arm swap, and a color scheme. It's very few modifications, but to me, that has taken the Lord Solar model and made it next level. The real victory is the dice we roll along the way. Hell yeah. I need help picking knights for the new army. I want a Dominus pattern, 2 armigers, and at least a Cerastus, but I want 8 to 10. Oh yes. Oh yes. Well, I would like to recommend your first Cerastus be an Atropos because I freaking love my Atropos. It has done cool things for me every game. Does it ever win me the game? It's done a lot of damage. I wouldn't say it's ever been like game winning, but it has been fun every time I put it on the table. And if you fight other knights, other Titanic units, it gets like free rerolls. So it's just like I'm gonna kill this thing. It's really cool. So yeah, let that be my recommendation: is get you an Atropos. The Lancers look cool. I don't know if Lancers are any good, but they look. I've always wanted one. They look great. And I can tell you, something two different armies used against me in the narrative event I played at was if you take, you want a Dominus, if you take the Valiant, which has that spear is damage 12, but it can crit to strength damage 24 if you roll it, and it can be devastating wounds. So it is crazy. That is like you pointed at something, like it's only one shot, but you can point it at something and be like, you see that right there? I don't want to see it anymore. It is really cool, and it's like I don't remember if you. I think you have to take it. Yeah, it's toughness 13, which is already hard to wound because most people's anti-tank is strength 12. You know, your last cannon equivalent, and so it being 13, most weapons of the game are wounding on you on 5 or better. And on top of that, you can take an enhancement as a character where it's like -2 to your AP. And so, like, with cover, they're saving last cannons on just AP 1. It's ridiculous. With that 13 toughness, it's just like, it's so hard to kill them. But yes, so Adeptus Pictorum. Very cool. I started following this content creator on Instagram this week. There it is. There's the name there. I definitely recommend checking him out on Instagram. I plan on magnetizing all the weapons so they're interchangeable. Yes, that's why what I plan on doing with the Indominus set as well. But yes, so they're really cool. What I've seen on their Imperial Guard army is they tend to, I'm not sure if it's a fully functional army or a painting project or what, but it seems to be like a law enforcement unit. And so they put this twist on several of their units. It kind of reminds me, and plus it's the red and black. So between like the law enforcement kind of look and the color scheme, the red, black, and gold, it kind of reminds me of Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. And you'll see what I mean when I move on to the Scions. But the Arbite's helmet and weapon here and the shoulder pad make this Lord Solar look next level to me. Like this, I've seen a lot of Lord Solars, especially when I was painting my own. I was looking for inspiration. This, I think, is the coolest Lord Solar I've ever seen. This is my favorite. Also, I've been painting up. I've got, some of you know that I've been working on a few different color schemes for Scions, and I hadn't found one that I was happy with. I tried one based off of an artwork that was red, black, and gold, which looks okay. I've just never quite been happy with it. I've tried the like fang blue and khaki pants, like on the box art. I didn't really like the way, I like the box art. I didn't like the way it came out when I tried to paint it that way. And then I tried one in one of my favorite color combinations, which is like black fatigues and Pro-Acryl blue for the armor with gold trim, which is my Imperial Knights color scheme. Yeah, I use that color scheme a lot. But yeah, I tried that. And like I liked it. I painted up a whole squad of it that way, but then it was just like I'm just really kind of recycling my Imperial Knights color scheme here. And also that's the way I painted my old Space Wolves. So I was like, I don't know. Nothing quite made me happy. But seeing this guy's like uh, Imperial Stormtrooper style Scions, which you'll see coming up, um, yeah, I think this is what I'm going to go with. Except for like the Lord Solar as part of my regular Imperial Guard army because that's already painted up. But yeah, I love the glow effect he does on the visor. I love the swap for the with the Arbites parts. I love the freaking black and gold horse. This Lord Solar is so cool. This I like everything about this. Give me 10 of them. And once again, if you want to check out all of their work, they are Adeptus Pictorum. Yeah, check them out. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. And I think they also do commission work too. So if you want something gorgeously painted, this might be your guy or girl. I don't know. Also, here are some Scions. Uh, Scions, as in like faction. Not. I mean, these are the Aquilons, but but from the Scion side of the army. Dude, it's so simple. I love the red stripe, the red inquisitorial stripe down the shoulder pauldrons and the knees, but it's just black armor, dark gray fatigues, and yeah, that's it. And gold trim. It's so simple, and it works. It works. And like I said, it really gives it that inquisitorial stormtrooper kind of vibe. I think I found my Scion's color scheme. I've got 3 boxes over here that's been waiting on me to find a color scheme. That's why I kept printing up. Scions to do my tests on because I wasn't happy with my Scion's color scheme yet, and I didn't want to break open the official boxes until I had my color scheme. I think this is it. I think I'm going to do some inquisitorial stormtroopers like this guy. I don't know if that's what their intention was, but that's the vibes it gives me as Imperial stormtroopers. Adeptus Picturum. Check them out. They are my art of the week this week. I'm going to try and do more of these art of the weeks, but this one just really inspired me. And I was like, you know what? I got to show this to people. If you guys have anything you want to show off that you've been working on, or if you guys find out in the wild any artwork that inspires you and you want to show other people, this exists in the hobby. Look at it. Make sure you send it to me either in Discord, Facebook Messenger. Send me some cool art, and we'll put it up for Art of the Week. I always prefer. No, I'm sorry. I don't usually put up the artwork people send me unless you include a picture of their post with their name, so that way we can give credit where credit is due. Because I don't just like putting things on my show and being like, I stole this artwork from somewhere. No credit to anyone, right? I'm like, here, I want specifically Adeptus Picturum to get, likes, follows, whatever. They're way bigger than me. Way bigger. I think they've got thousands of followers. But I just liked what I came across. I want to use that as inspiration for my Scions. And this was probably not a great time for me to come across their page, right? Because I'm just now finishing Custodes. I'm starting on a whole Space Wolves army. And now I'm like, at some point I need to pull out those boxes of Scions and start painting. Now, one of my used mini rescues, I found at a Bits Bazaar several months ago. A Porox on the cheap. You know, these secondhand Bits Bazaars are always great places. So whenever I do get around to painting up my stormtroopers, you know, they've got a transport waiting for them. So yeah, I'm excited. Too many projects, guys. Your brother has hobby ADD. I'm slowly falling asleep. I'll be off. Have a good night. Hey, good night to you as well. Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And we are at about 10:30, so we're going to call it a night as well. I wanted to end on Art of the Week tonight, but I really appreciate all of you joining me tonight, and it feels good to have Art of the Week back on the show. So, that's it. Hopefully, by the next time you guys see me, I may have my first Space Wolf done for the new army. Which will be in 2 weeks. I am working next weekend, unfortunately. So 2 weeks for the next show. But thank you all so much for joining me tonight. If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below. And feel free to be part of any of tonight's ridiculous conversations. One of those which I still would like a vote on if you think I should start with Luna Wolves or Blood Angels for 30k, if I decide to dip my toe in the water. If you guys are not yet subscribed to any of the fam listed in the Friends of Wolfbrother Hobbies down below, please make sure you check out the link in the link tree and give some follows to some great people in the hobby on the interwebs. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to this guy, then we'd really love to have you as part of the pack here at Wolfbrother Hobbies. Until next time, fam, stay frosty.